You can ask anyone anything if you don't buy into your thinking about what it would mean if they said no. Now, this was the quote by Michael Neal, which was our conversation starter in the last episode, where I discussed about the one half of the statement, and that is handling the two-letter word no. And in today's episode, I am sharing the deets on the second part of the quotation, which is asking anyone for anything, which in our case is the sale. So let's jump in. Fall in love with selling as you acquire the right mindset, selling style, and sales process that helps you take your business solution to more prospects, potential clients, and the world at large. If you are a women entrepreneur who is looking to get more sales, scale, and sustainability in your business, you have reached the right place. I'm Roshni Baronia, your host for the show Ace the Sales, which is all about helping you bring your authentic and influential self to each sales conversation. A boy fears asking a girl out for a date. An employee thinks for ages before asking for a salary raise. Women coming back to work do not ask for the justified pay package. And business owners do not ask for the sale to the client because they just assume that the client already knows that they are here to sell their product, program, or service. So they just assume that the client should know that they are here for the sale and they should just hand it over to them. Worse still, they think that probably the client knows that if they need the product, they need my service, they will come back to me and hand it over to me, just like that. But hey, Grasshopper, that's not the case. Let me share an example here for why I say so. I was recently doing a webinar on negotiation skills, and after the webinar there was a Q&A session, and in the session one of the participants who had recently launched her startup asked this particular question from me that hey, I don't ask my rightful price because I think the investors are some big brands, and me being a new startup, me being a newbie, I don't think I have the command or the position to ask them what I think is the right number for me. Now, let me share that this is something which is not her as a new startup feels, but there are so many times that many experienced entrepreneurs as well, whenever they go to a bigger brand or to a bigger business or a more successful entrepreneur to sell their product, program, or service, they often feel intimidated by the client's position. So they think that the particular person or the other party is a more powerful brand, a bigger business, or a more successful influencer or entrepreneur. And so they feel very insecure about their own ask. So they feel intimidated by the other person's stature. On the other hand, if the client looks more in need or they are someone who have lesser experience than yourself, you do not feel very intimidated, and then probably you step into the best version of yourself and you come across as wearing your strongest armors, and then you are very confident about your product, program, service, or just asking for the sale. So now, do you see what is the difference here? The difference is that our feeling of being inferior or superior is not coming intrinsically from our own self. It is being affected by a client's external factors, things which are more made up. And to drill this down further, here are a few factors I want to highlight which makes or drives this kind of a feeling. So the first influencing factor is the physique. So if someone is physically larger than us, then probably we feel intimidated. However, if they are smaller, we will feel that probably we will have more control on them, or we can drive them the way we want to. So the height, weight, strongness, frailness, older, younger, these are the kind of bodily things, the physical things that also influence our psychology as to how we will behave with our client, how confident we will be when we are asking for that sale. The second influencing factor is qualification, a better college, more or less experience, more or less of an expert. These are the kind of things which also influence our psychology to feel confident or not during a sales conversation. So if we feel that the person is a newbie or someone who is having lesser experience than us, or I have a decade-long entrepreneurial experience, but this is a startup who has just launched 3 years back. So how can they compete with me, or how can they talk me out of a sale? So this kind of a comparison in terms of qualification and experience is something which we tend to do in a sales conversation as well. Thirdly, success level. Now, seemingly more or less successful than yourself, having more of a personal brand presence, a bigger brand or a smaller brand, your understanding of how rich or wealthy or more money they have or they do not have. So this is the kind of perception that you have about your prospect or the client. So if you feel they are richer than you, they are wealthier than you, then you will probably be intimidated by them. But if you feel that you are having a stronger position in terms of money, then you will be much more confident in asking for that premium priced service, irrespective of whether that client can pay it or not. But just because you are finding yourself to be at a higher position than them in terms of money, you will be more confident in asking for the sale. Now, here I am not judging whether these are right or wrong. I'm just here telling you that these are the influencing factors. What we need to do is to work around these influencing factors for our benefit. So these are just some of the things that influence our feeling of inferiority or superiority in a sales situation, and hence it impacts the way we ask or do not ask for the sale. So let me share 2 ways in which you can work around these influencing factors. First up is that you do not psych yourself in a sales situation thinking that the client has an upper edge or a stronger position than you, because they really don't have that. You are at an equal par with them because only you have the painkiller for their problem. You have as much leverage in a sales situation, in a sales conversation as they have, because it's not only you who need the paycheck for your business to keep going. It is they also who want that solution to fix their business problems or life problems or relationship problems, mindset problems, skill problem, whatever it is that they are struggling with, and only you have a solution for it. So you have an equal leverage. You are at a level playing field. So do not let any kind of imbalance of scale come into the picture. You are at a level playing field. Keep that in mind always. Whether you are a newbie or you are having a stronger brand positioning than them, you always are at a level playing field. Another factor that deeply impacts women especially is that they have been conditioned not to ask. They have been conditioned to settle for less, settle for whatever is available or accessible, settle to compromise and to not ask, to be seen and never heard. And especially when they are asking for money, they are not taught to talk about money, not to ask anything. So of course, when you come into a position where you have to ask for the sale, which is in exchange of money, then it absolutely throws you off the circuit. And this conditioning, this very conditioning that they have been raised up with, comes in their way of asking for the sale. But here's the thing, no matter what, you do not attach your self-esteem or your self-worth to the outcome of the sale. Handling the outcome of a sale is actually a matter of your own choice. If you want to be respected for your work, if you want to be known for the value you create for your clients, if you want to be known for the results you create in this world, the legacy you are making, you have to make a choice that no matter what the outcome of this one sale is, whether it is yes, whether it is no, it is not going to impact my self-worth. I am going to go forward and ask the sale no matter what the outcome is. Let me share a powerful quote by Brené Brown, which I am remembering at this point right now. So this was an interview which she was giving for the Red Table Talk, where she said that your healing happens at the sharing, not at the response to it. So if I tweak it into the context of selling, it would go something like this. Your fear of rejection is healed at the asking of the sale, not at the outcome of it. So you see that you have to ask the sale and get rid of your fear of hearing the no. And that's when it becomes easier for you to ask for the sale. So those were the two biggest things that I wanted to share with you today, that when it comes to asking for the sale, you have to know for sure that you and your client are at a level playing field. And secondly, that your self-worth is much more than the no or yes of the sale. So do not attach your self-worth to the outcome of the sale. And then it will become a hell lot easier for you to go ahead and make the ask. And just to top that off with some more insights from the book Aladdin Factor by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor, here are a few more points on how to ask the sale. First is, ask as if you expect to get it. Second, ask someone who can give it to you. Of course, you have to do the research early about the client as to whether or not they have the resources to pay you, right? So ask someone who can give it to you. Third, be clear and specific in your request. Now, what exactly you want them to do? Do you want them to sign and send the contract? Do you want them to pay an advance? Do you want them to share a list of deliverables that they expect you to do? So what is it that marks the completion of a sale for you? Make that very specific. Fourth point, ask with humor and creativity. Yes, after all, it should be fun. Doing business should be fun for you. Why make it so serious? So ask with humor and creativity. Fifth, ask from heart. Now, of course, you are here to serve your clients because you care. So let it show in your ask as well. Sixth, be prepared to give something in order to get something. When people do business with you, they should know that they can trust you and they can come up to you with any problems or concerns. So make that thing very, very obvious and very clear to them that yes, you are here to serve them and you will do whatever it takes to give them the results that you have promised to them. Of course, you will have boundaries within which you will work, but your promise to your client is not the things that are listed in the contract, but it is more as a person-to-person connect as well. So be prepared to give that aspect as well in a business dealing or a conversation. Seventh, ask repeatedly, and that's why I always keep saying and stressing upon the importance of follow-ups. So ask repeatedly. And eighth, be gracious in accepting a no. Now, of course, that was a part that we have explained in great detail in the previous episode, so you can go ahead and listen to that as well. So now I hope that you will be able to make more powerful asks in sales and sign up more clients. And I'm 100% positive that you will be able to do that. The only thing that you need to do for me is to give a 5-star rating or a review on Apple iTunes, because it will really help me take this podcast to more and more women like yourself, and they will also be able to scale up their success, level up in scales, and make friends with sellers. So kudos to you. Stay happy, stay safe. Do leave a review and join me next week Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It means a lot to me that you've taken out the time to spare to listen to this podcast episode. I hope I was able to provide some value to you. And if you had some learnings from today's episode, do consider leaving us a 5-star review or a rating on Apple iTunes. It will mean the world to me and it will help me take this podcast to more and more people. And if you are planning to launch your podcast, you should definitely check out hubhopperstudio.com, because that's the place my podcast is hosted, and I am super thrilled and happy with the features and customer support they provide. Hubhopper is India's leading podcast creation platform, which can be the perfect place from where you can share your voice to the entire world. So go check out the link in the show notes, and I will see you next week.